Hi friends, MD Vegan. I make a dessert. It is a date filled with nuts, different kinds, and coated in chocolate. I make it all myself with the dates already. And here it's a medjool date. You see, I have to pit it and remove the hard parts like this, yeah, so that it is easy to enjoy. I just cut half open like this, open it up so the pit can go out and I can fill it. The medjool dates, they are the most wonderful dates at all, we all know. And for a dessert like that, it's perfect to use a medjool. I have wonderful gifts also to friends or family or so. Very nice. So I show you what I have here. I made one in advance. I tried a little bit. It's not so easy if you don't know how to do it. This is what it looks like in the end. It's a very simple idea. Chocolate outside, inside the nuts. I cut it open. Show you. That's what it looks like. You see here. That is the nut inside. There are cashews and the chocolate outside. You see. And to enjoy is so delicious. I once made a gift to friends and family, just the nuts inside alone. You can put everything inside, and then to enjoy the medjool dates with the nuts. It's so delicious, a perfect snack. It's also super healthy. Dates are really healthy. You eat dates every day, get healthier and healthier. There are even studies about it. It's a perfect food, the healthiest fruit at all. Blueberries, of course, are healthier, we know, but dates are wonderful. And nuts too. Nuts are among the foods that are really helping us with getting older and staying healthy at the same time. It's an anti-aging fruit, nut food. So both together are perfect, and chocolate too has wonderful benefits. I make it today, but first, step by step. Let's do it step by step. So the dates here, I have to fill the dates. I have 5 dates here. I want to make 5 different kind of fillings. So a little bit of variety is always nice. And it's also nice to explore all these wonderful nuts we have. I just cut it open, these dates, and take the hard parts out. So 5 here. That's it. That's very easy. That's a very easy dessert. And then I have 5 different kinds of nuts. And here I show you the nuts quickly. I have here macadamias, the queens of nuts, cashews, they're sweet. The macadamia is rather hard and a little savory. And I have walnuts, also known as the healthiest nuts, and almonds, not quite nuts, but we take them as nuts. They are all wonderful and healthy, especially when they're raw. You cannot eat nuts every day and get fatter. You will not gain weight. You will rather lose weight if you eat handfuls of nuts. In addition to your regular diet, you will rather lose weight than gain weight. It's a fantastic story about nuts. So the one reason why they are so healthy, if they are raw, when they are roasted or with salt or something or fat, there's no effect, but it's not good. You gain weight. But because in the raw nut there is something, they try to find out what it is. And after the stories, the studies show clearly that there's rather weight loss. Really fascinating, because there's so much fat in nuts, so you would expect all the calories that makes you gain weight. It doesn't do it, because they think in the nuts there is something, in the raw nut there is something that makes the cells burn more fire, take more energy when you eat the nut. So you burn more energy than you get. Interesting. And the other nut here, the 5th one, is pistachio. Also very unique. Pistachios are the only nut that have so much melatonin. It's a very important enzyme that makes all the sleep go well and the eyes that you see in darkness. So when you have not enough melatonin, the body produces it itself, you don't have enough, you cannot sleep. Yeah? And all these kind of things are very important enzyme. And one single pistachio, one single one, is enough melatonin for 1 day. That's a perfect, wonderful nut. So delicious. There are many recipes with that. I just use them raw, put them into these. I begin right with the pistachios, put them into the date. Yeah? Just fill it to the brim here. Fill it like that. And this the nice thing with these medjool dates, they are so soft. Yeah, you can just model it around the nuts. So you have a nice amount of nuts inside, and that's how I do it. You can eat that right away. So one pistachio nut I have. Put it here. And the next is a macadamia. That's I love all the nuts. Macadamias go in the same way. I have maybe two. Yeah, two is enough. 2 macadamias, you see, like this. And then I also model the date around it. They're soft, I said. It's very nice. So you have it, you already filled. You don't see anything outside almost. So second one. Third one is now with cashews. Cashews also go in. I take 2 here. Depends on the size of the cashews. Maybe a third one. It's nice to put a lot of nuts in there, as many as you can. You see I have 3 here. 1 large, medium, and 1 small. And again, I model the date around the cashews here. So like this. You got it? That's it. Where's the nut? That's 3. 4 now with the almonds and the walnuts. I begin with the almonds. Put the almonds in. Almond is wonderful for the dates together. I always use that for the crust of a raw fruit cake. Here too, as many almonds as possible, and then model the date around it, and you have it. Almonds, and number 5 will be a walnut. So the walnuts, the healthiest nut, they have this omega-3 fatty acid. That's a very healthy fat. We need it every day. The walnuts provide just enough as that we need. I break the walnut into 2 parts. They are also a little bit large. That doesn't fit so nice, so I break them apart and put broken walnuts into the date. So I got 1.5 walnut. You see, broken a little bit. So make it fit, and again, modeling around the nut. Yeah, so that's part 2. Part 1 was spitting the date. Part 2 was filling the date. And part 3 now, I make the chocolate. And for that, I have 3 ingredients to make a very simple chocolate. The most important is the coconut, the cacao butter. You see, melted cacao butter on a hot water bath. These metal containers are very helpful. I cut the cacao butter from a block with a chef knife on a cutting board, put it into this container, and put it then onto a hot water bath. And in 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, that melts into liquid. That's what I need. That is the base for the chocolate. There will be a white chocolate, and I wouldn't put cacao powder in. Of course, that's also crucial to make chocolate. Cacao powder, that is 3 heaping tablespoons. And the third ingredient is date mousse. You don't need that necessarily. Yeah, I like it a little bit sweeter, but you always, I show you in another video how to make date mousse. It's very simple. You blend in date with water, and then you have date mousse. It holds for a week. The video is linked under this one. You can watch how to make the date mousse, and yeah, but it's very easy. And you don't need it necessarily because the date is already here. The medjool is already sweet. So you have bitter chocolate around it. It may be good anyway. I like a little bit sweetened. And what I do now is, it's a little bit tricky, I have to say. Yeah? I tried sometimes, I had to make variations, how to make the chocolate. Yeah, that's the thing. So here is my container. Here I make the chocolate, and you see it's also a metal container, yeah, that you can heat from below. And here is the container for the hot water. And I have here almost boiling water. I just boiled it before the video started. And so when I need it, I can put it in here and keep the chocolate warm, because it needs to be warm. Otherwise, you cannot coat the nuts with it, the dates with it, right? And so the tricky part is to combine the three ingredients, the cacao powder, the date mousse, and the cacao butter, without making it a lump, without making it a texture mess. Yeah, it should be runny and creamy and glossy, shiny, showy. So I begin with the date mousse. My plan is, and my experience here is, I'm not a professional chocolate maker, really, they have it down. I'm just learning it. I love chocolate, I make it myself usually. Because also chocolate is very healthy, it helps with aging and so many things. It's really recommended to eat chocolate. Not too much, of course, but it is very good, very healthy. So, date mousse. I have here a spoon. I put some date mousse into my container first. So that's the trick. Yeah, I thought about it, how to do it best, because all of a sudden it's stuck everything, and then you're finished. You can't move on. You have to heat it up again. Keep it liquid. That's important. So date mousse first. Here, just a little bit of date mousse. You don't need that much ice. I tell you, you can even leave it away. The second part is, onto the date mousse, I put the cacao powder, and that needs to be a lot, because you want to have a chocolatey flavor. That's important, not too little. It's definitely a lot more than date mousse, the volume alone. These are 3 heaping tablespoons. These are just 2 small tablespoons date mousse. And the cacao powder goes all on top of the date mousse. It's very simple. And then now I can take a spoon, a fork, and mix it together. So that was my idea. And before I put the cacao butter, the liquid cacao butter, into this mess, I mix it with the date mousse, the cacao powder. Now, that's important. The other way around, I tried it before, turns into a mess. So date mousse first, then the cacao powder. Try to get it into one homogeneous texture, one mass. I show you in a moment what I'm doing here. It's very simple. And so far, no problem with the temperature, because the date mousse is room temperature, cacao powder is room temperature, and nothing changes here. I just want to make sure that I get this texture, that I get all the cacao butter, the cacao powder well combined with the date mousse. And as I say it again, the cacao powder must be considerably more than the date mousse. Now, you want to have that cacao flavor in the foreground, dominating, not the date mousse. It can be a little bit sweet, but not too much. You have the sweetness already in the dates that you will cover with the chocolate. So I have to knead a little bit here. We make it nice. And once the liquid comes on top, the cacao butter, it is hard to get it homogeneous because, well, technically, it's just first you have to make the homogeneous texture here, the kneading, like a kind of dough, or dough, they say, and then the butter, the liquid butter comes in, not the other way around. That's pretty important. I figured that out, I guess. I'm lucky I did. I'm happy I figured it out, because at first I didn't really know how to do it. I've been trying for some time to make my own chocolate here. It's easy for a cake, you know, when I make a filling for a cake with chocolate, it's easy. I can blend some bananas in or so, and some cashews, and then make the cacao, the chocolate, but then you have a creamy chocolate. But you want to make a cover, a coat for a date. The chocolate cannot be too creamy. It needs to be firm and dry, putting bananas or cashews into the cacao blended, you get a very milky and a soft cacao chocolate that does not work for covering dates. So that is a little tricky, and then you have these texture problems when you don't put, when I blend dates into bananas into that or cashews, super easy. You put the blender, you have your chocolate cream, but not when you make a chocolate like this. Then you cannot do that. I tried that. The chocolate will always be too soft. You will never get a nice cover for the dates. That is the tricky part of it. But here, I can show you now. I guess I got it. I think that is okay. So now all of the cacao powder has been incorporated into this date mousse, you see, like a dough. See? And now I try I try to do that. I put the cacao butter on top, and I take a spoon here, tablespoons full of the liquid. And this is also important, how much I put into that. I put it in. Because when you have to have too much, yeah, then there is too much cacao butter, and it will not be bound by the cacao powder and by the date mousse. It will be like a fat that is without any filling, empty fat without chocolate. It will have a white color, whitish color, and it will not be nice for the dates because it is just too fat. So you can't take too much and you can't take too little. And now while I mix the cacao butter into the date mousse with the cacao powder, now is the time when I have to be careful with the temperature. So that's why I prepared my hot water for my for this water bath, for this cacao chocolate, liquid chocolate, because when that gets too cold, the chocolate is firming up, and I cannot use it anymore for covering my dates, coating my dates. So now is the time to use the hot water. I put it in here, you see, in the bowl. Very careful, it's very hot. Like this, you see. Very simple. These tools are so important. These containers, these metal containers, are very helpful. They're very expensive. I get them from the Turkish community here. It's too much, a little bit too much. I don't want to make a mess here. Yeah, that's good. So the right amount, and now my chocolate begins to liquefy a little bit more. That's important. I need to have it nice, a nice texture. And as I said, importantly, not too much cacao butter and not too little. So rather begin with a little bit too little, then stir it like this on the hot water bath so it remains liquid and warm. And then I will see, it has to have this shiny surface. The chocolate makers, they have a special word for that. I don't know the word now. It doesn't matter. But you will see what I'm talking about. The surface needs to be shiny. Then you have the perfect amount of butter and powder, and mainly butter and powder. Date mousse also, yeah, but it's not so important. Mostly is the powder, the cacao powder, and the cacao butter. These are the main parts. So that has to be nice and runny and shiny. I need a little bit more stirring here. There are some little parts, but that is important. That really nicely stirring it. That's why it's important to have the cold water, the hot water on the bottom, because if you don't get that right, if it's not creamy enough, not homogeneous enough, too cold, you never have a nice and creamy chocolate, and that's important. Looks nice, but I need some more stirring. So here, there are some dots on top, some coarseness in there. I don't want to have that. It's like having a little cloud of cacao powder, and you don't want to have that. You want it all dissolved into the cacao butter. That's why stirring is important here. I do it all by hand. I make a very small amount. If you want to make more, you can take also more, make a larger container. But to me, it's easier. It seems easier and safer to make just 5 in the beginning, and then when that works, I can make more. I have to stir a little bit more. So I guess I stir a little bit more, and I come back when it's done and show you what it looks like. I have to keep on stirring a little bit. Come back in a moment. I think I got it. Let me show you what it looks like. And I show you this shiny surface that I'm talking about. You see, this is shiny surface, and it's pretty smooth and homogeneous now. I did a lot of stirring. I put a little bit more cacao butter in, liquid cacao butter. It was just the right amount. It just happened to have the right amount. So you find that you begin with a little less, and then you add more until it has this shiny surface and this nice homogeneous texture, the cacao, the liquid cacao. So now, the final part, I have to now cover my dates, 5 dates, and that is very easy. I have here the spoon and the fork to hold it. You just put it in, cover it, put it on the plate. Every single one of them. Turn it around, put it on the plate. Isn't that easy? Yeah, and I will make some more dates, of course. I want to make a couple, some more. Once I got my liquid chocolate, that's my greatest achievement, I can do some more dates. But did you know to show you, I make 5 different kinds. That's what I want to show you, and how to do it and how easy it is, and show you now what I have here. See, these are the dates that are covered in chocolate, and know that this is the first layer only. You can't eat it like that. Of course, they have to cool down now, maybe in the fridge or just with a lid or the bowl on top to let it cool down a little bit, that the chocolate firms up, gets hard, and then you can enjoy. Then you have this. Then you have this, right? And this is so delicious. That wasn't in the fridge or so. Just on the room temperature, it becomes like this. It firms up. And when you want, for example, on the bottom now, there may be some, the way it touches the plate, there's some space, you see something from the surface of the date, so less cover. So when you want, you wait until it's dry and cold, and do it one more time. And then you have a thicker cover. That's all as you wish. But that's what I wanted to show you today. It's very simple. It takes some steps, yeah. But once you know how to make the chocolate, so that it can be used as a cover for a date or something like that, or fruit or whatever, it goes for everything. You're done. It's so easy. One thing I want to mention, I would really recommend to take care of the quality of your produce. For example, cacao powder. I was once very clever. I tried to be clever and got the very cheap cacao powder. Usually I get my cacao powder from a good source. I know the dealer, the trader. That's very cool. But then all of a sudden a friend told me, here, look at that. There's a very cheap cacao powder. It was 1/3 of the price. Yeah? I bought a kilo. And I tried, and I was so disappointed because the cacao powder, that very cheap one, it was the only one that was so cheap. Yeah? That was coarse. Yeah? The grinder you need to make a cacao from the beans, you need a very powerful grinder. A very nice, that takes a lot of time, and they are very thousands of dollars or euros, such a machine. And for a private person, that makes no sense. When you don't have that, you better purchase a high quality cacao powder. And the other thing is, it was, I don't know, maybe the bean of the cacao might have been not so quality because it was a little bit sour. So when you make a cacao, when I made a cacao with this powder, it didn't taste that well. It was a sour flavor, and that is what you do not want to have with the cacao. The flavor has to be bitter, but not sour. Something was wrong. So I really recommend for you making these precious chocolate gifts, or desserts, I would really recommend to spend a little bit more money on a high quality cacao powder and also a high quality cacao butter. You don't do it so often, right? And if you make it yourself, it's always less expensive than when you purchase it. So the quality of the produce is in this case really crucial. So that's a last advice, suggestion if you want. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. If you like my video, subscribe, MD Vegan on YouTube. Have another recipe every single day. And find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and X.